Okay, so we're going to go over a quick, simple, basic structure of how you can get stronger and how you can progress in your training that you can pretty much apply no matter where you're at. So whenever you get a new program, obviously there's going to be a phase of learning technique, and then you're going to slowly progress that program. So before we get into it, some key things are obviously consistency. So, consistency is such an important factor because you can't really just train once a week, and expect to progress week after week after week. You really need to begin training, a minimum of 3 sessions per week, ideally, to be able to really set yourself that foundation that is going to actually allow for you to really be able to get decent progress. If you're getting your sessions in 3 times a week, you're consistently putting energy into those sessions, you really are setting a foundation that's going to allow for progress, that's going to allow for you to get stronger. So, that should be the basis, that the real, underlying focus. If you're not getting that needs to be what you focus on straight away. That's going to set a foundation to really progress and get any other kind of results off. So ensure that you're consistent, just like with any habit. We repeatedly do. So number 2, progressive overload. So just think, if you do the same thing over and over and over again, that's the definition of insanity. You're not really going to progress. So progressive overload is essentially we just want to add a little bit more intensity, whether that's weight, whether that's reps, to the bar or to the exercise, potentially right now every time we do it. So it could be every session, it could be every week. But yeah, essentially what we want to do is just make small incremental progress, and ultimately, if you add up that over a month, it's going to be a bit more significant. Over 6 months, over 12 months, it's going to be a lot more significant. Over 12 months, if you have a new program each month that just progressively overloads you slowly, and then within that program you progressively overload, after 12 months you're going to see some amazing progress. Obviously, you've got an individualized program. We have done our assessments and we've created that individualized plan for you. So this is the basic structure. So on an Rpe scale, 1 being very light activity, all the way up to 10 being max effort, we recommend sort of when you get a new program, week 1 being done at around a 5.5 Rpe. So not, like moderate. And that's obviously alongside that, a big focus on technique. So technique is huge. Obviously, you want to be focusing on that, a lot. Send through videos, do whatever you've got to do to really get your technique good. And then, focus on building it up to an Rpe of around 5.5. Week 2, we want to push to around an Rpe of 6.5. Again, ensuring that technique is still good, but we want to push that just that little bit harder. And then, if we go week 3, then we want to push that little bit harder again. Again, ensuring that technique's good, we should be able to push to a 7.5. So now we're getting up into, we're starting to challenge ourselves a bit more. Exercise is starting to be a bit more strenuous. And then we get to week 4, and ideally we want to be able to push up to an 8.5. So, that's starting to get quite difficult by an 8.5. Ensuring, again, that technique is good and you feel good in the movement, and there's no bad pain or anything like that. So a simple example of how we could do this is using the rep scheme of 3 times 8 to 12 reps. You can start at the bottom rep range, 8 reps, pick a weight. It might even be body weight if you're doing like a lunge or a squat or something like that. And then, work at around an Rpe of 5.5. So you pick a weight that feels around a 5.5 out of 10 for you. Then on week 2, you could keep the same weight, but increase the reps to the top end of the rep range to 12, which, would be around an Rpe 6.5, let's say. Then week 3, you could add some weight. So you go 7 kilos rather than just body weight. You drop back down to 8 reps. You do that, and we say we're progressing. And then week 4, you can keep the 7 kilos and push the rep range back up to number 12 again. So this is a simple sort of way, and honestly, you could do that over and over again. You could do that for longer than 4 weeks. You could do that for longer than 4 progressions. Once you got to 12, you could go up to 12 kilos instead of 7 kilos, or just what felt right for you, what felt manageable. Obviously, maintaining technique while you're doing so, and drop the rep range back down to 8, and you could progress it up again. So this is a simple way to think of progressing. And obviously, if you get to a point where you're pushing really hard too quickly, that's not necessarily a good thing. But if you get to a point where you're pushing really hard and you can't progress, that's when something needs to change. You either need to recover better, or maybe you need a new program, you need a new focus. So that's in simple how we want to progress week by week, just getting those slight incremental improvements. And if you do that for a 4 to 6 week period, you get to a point where you're feeling like you can't progress that much more, then you're ready for a new program. All right, so get stuck in and enjoy.